Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. It's about day 5 or day 6 of no live sports, but the NFL free agency period has guided us to this time where we have a lot to talk about. Yesterday, it was confirmed by first Colin Cowherd's text message from an icon, he says, saying that Tom Brady was going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was later confirmed. There's no official announcement date. There is no official press conference. They don't know how they're going to do it, but Tom Brady is officially going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, is what everybody was saying last night. What could be an unforeseen circumstance? I'm excited to find out. Now, everybody has thought, and it has been leaked, that Tom Brady and Antonio Brown have been in constant contact. So the thought is that the Buccaneers will also be signing Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans are quite a threesome at wide receiver there with Tom Brady, with Bruce Arians, Clyde Christensen, Byron Leftwich as quarterback coach. I mean, that team all of a sudden went from 40-1 odds to win the Super Bowl to 22-1 odds to win the Super Bowl because you're bringing in old Tom Brady. Cam Newton's getting shopped around apparently, but not by his choice, by the way, by the organization's choice. That was found out in the Instagram comments when the Panthers announced that they are allowing or giving permission to Cam Newton and his team to seek a trade. Cam Newton went underneath it, spoke in his own language, and basically said, I didn't want to do this. You're forcing me to do this. I didn't want to leave. You're forcing me to leave, basically. And then Greg Olsen from the top rope, Macho Man Randy Savage, elbow dropped the tag team on top of that, says, oh, this sounds awfully familiar, because obviously Greg Olsen departed from the Panthers. He's now a member of the Seahawks. Cam Newton, everybody's assuming, is going to end up with the Los Angeles Chargers just because it's a good fit. But will he be traded there, or will the Chargers and everybody wait until he's inevitably cut from the Carolina Panthers because they just spent $63 million on Teddy Bridgewater to be their starting quarterback? A couple other deals happened. There's still some people on the market. And the DeAndre Hopkins trade from the Texans to the Arizona Cardinals for a second-round draft pick in David Johnson, basically. David Johnson, a couple years ago, great running back. Hasn't been that since. Maybe he will come back. I don't know. But it seemed like Billy O'Brien got fleeced by the Cardinals. Michael Irvin was on Get Up this morning and said something that makes this even deeper. I guess there was a real personal vendetta issue between DeAndre Hopkins and Billy O. I can't wait for you all to hear that and react to that. We got that, plus Benjamin Watson and Cam Heyward. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I forgot if it was Cam or Chris. I just remember Heyward because his dad used to play, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, Ironhead.
Ironhead Heyward and I played pickup basketball one time at a school in Plumboro, Pennsylvania. Old Ironhead Heyward. Cam Heyward, his son, defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was the one that picked up Quentin Nelson and dumped him on Jacoby Brissett's knee, which hurt Jacoby Brissett and ultimately led to Phillip Rivers signing a $25 million deal. We'll talk to Cam about what's going on with the Steelers. And does he feel any sense of accomplishment getting Phillip Rivers $25 million or any sense of accountability for potentially running Jacoby Brissett's career into the ground? I mean, we will talk about that. What's going to happen with the Colts? We want to hear from you. 1-833-622-3331. If you're watching on YouTube, get your questions in the comments. Zeke is keeping up with that. It's 4 minutes after the hour, and we should get this thing started. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is Chase Rice. Chase Rice, by the way, will be joining us Monday at 11:30 for the final half hour of the show on Monday. He and I were texting last night.
Let's go.
He was forced to stay in. He said he would rather be at a bar for St. Patrick's Day, but he's forced to stay in. I said, you coming on the show anytime soon? And he said Friday would be good. I said, well, we can't because he had something going on from like 11 to noon, but I wanted Feel Good Friday. Couldn't start Feel Good Friday with Chase Rice. You'd have to end Feel Good Friday with Chase Rice. So I decided we'll have Feel Good Monday on the other side, 11:30. Going to bring out my guitar as well. Maybe, we'll have a dueling guitar session. Awesome. But Chase Rice, obviously blowing up in the world. He was on The Bachelor. He's opening up for Garth Brooks and Rascal Flatts whenever their tours get back underway after COVID-19 releases his death grip on society. At Nick Moraldo is here on the ones and twos wearing a, that's a different hoodie for you. That's not a normal color for Nick Moraldo to wear right there. Is the coronavirus making you kind of turn a page? Are you a whole new man now?
No, I just haven't done laundry in a couple days.
Hey.
That's all.
It's a little brighter, right? I mean, it's a little brighter than what Nick Moraldo normally wears.
He's popping right now.
At Tone Diggs is here, looking fantastic, fella.
Thank you.
At Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee, Cuban Zeets. You guys are all looking good as well, obviously. Evan Foxy rocking his new Pub vs. Everybody shirt. That place is dead. It stinks. One of its members on the phone is a guy who lost his quarterback yesterday, a man who yelled at his phone yesterday, a man who potentially cried to start his day yesterday, a guy who's from the Masshole area, diehard Patriot fan, Connor Campbell, living in a brand new world today.
Didn't start the day yesterday crying, but I'll tell you what, started today crying.
Are you in? No, you did start yesterday crying. Like we saw you yesterday.
Well, yeah, but today I woke up and the waterworks just started flowing. The
Again?
First full day.
Is it real?
Well, this is like the first full day. Yesterday was the shock day. Yesterday was DJ.
Stages of grief.
Yeah, today is.
You're past denial then, right? Because you go from anger to denial to sad. You're probably at sad right now.
Knee deep in sad.
And then you have to go to coping and moving forward. And the good thing for you guys is you guys have zero salary cap. So moving forward will be great.
But Bill Belichick says he has a plan. And if Bill has a plan, then we're all right.
You know what? Bill Belichick, I have a lot of faith in Bill Belichick. And I think Bill Belichick, by the way, wrote that up whenever he was ready to get rid of Tom Brady like 2 years ago. That statement about how he loves him. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. Bill Belichick is not a guy who harbors feelings towards players. He's a guy that if he thinks your piece of gum has run out of flavor, he will spit it out and get a brand new piece of gum that is younger, cheaper, and in it for the much longer haul. He's done it with everybody. We talked about it on the show numerous times. He did it with Willie McGinnis. He did it with Vinatieri. I mean, he's done it with basically Teddy Bruschi. He's done a lot to a lot of people, and not like in a bad way, but in his particular brand of businesses, I'd rather get rid of you way before you crash than have you stick around and have to watch the crash because I don't want to deal with that. Maybe Bill Belichick says, I don't want to deal with watching you play bad football. There's nothing worse than a good guy playing bad football, so let's get rid of him before he starts playing bad football. And he wanted to do that with Tom Brady a couple years ago whenever he was thinking about sticking with Jimmy G. Him and Kraft are having conversations. I bet he's good now, but I don't want to watch him stink. Do you want on him? He's the greatest of all time. It'll be tough to watch. Let's get rid of him. Let's get this young, handsome guy. And Kraft's like, nope, can't do it. Get him out of town. Tom Brady then started probably having a cold shoulder towards Bill Belichick. Then they built up that entire relationship. And going into this season, he wanted to leave. He wanted to be a free agent for the first time in 20 years. He wanted to control his destiny. He played it up. He had a Super Bowl commercial, for God's sake. He had some Instagram posts. He had other cryptic things going on. And ultimately, at the end of the day, he landed in a place that is going to give him roster control, a lot of weapons on offense, and a chance to really make a run in an NFC that is, a little bit of an older conference as opposed to the AFC. And whenever Tom Brady has massive amounts of success next year, I think it's going to be very difficult for these Patriots fans watching Jarrett Stidham learn how to do a 4-step drop.
I mean, this was longer and more excruciating than the decision. And let's keep in mind, LeBron came back. Brady's not coming back. He's done.
I just took a random shot at Jarrett Stidham. I know nothing about the guy. Okay. So what if Bill Belichick and Kraft, who have seen, their backups go have success places that they have drafted, right? Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy G. Their scouting department has found these backup quarterbacks that have come into the New England Patriots and nobody really probably expected to be that great. And then they've gone on to be pretty damn good NFL quarterbacks. What if Bill Belichick is up there thinking like, do they not see what we did with Jacoby and Matt Castle and Jimmy Garoppolo and Hoyer? And there's probably more in there. They've all been good quarterbacks. What do you You guys just don't think I drafted you think Jarrett Stidham's a bad quarterback? You think that's why you think the New England Patriots drafted a bad quarterback? Is that what you think? I wonder if Bill Belichick is hearing these conversations. He probably doesn't, but I wonder if the Patriots organization is nowhere near having the conversation that everybody else is having. Like, hey, who are they moving on to? Are they moving on to Andy Dalton? Are they doing this? I wonder if they're just like, no, Jarrett Stidham's good. But I guess they did put out a feeler for Cam Newton's health and injury records, but there's no way Cam Newton ends up a Patriot. Is that something that happens? I don't think Bill Belichick. No. I just don't know. I don't know. And it's all because of that Prime series where you get to see how Cam Newton operates on a day-to-day basis. Very upbeat, but he's very charismatic on a daily basis. And maybe that it might be like that up in New England. I'm not 100% sure. But if Bill's looking into him, I guess there has to be a reason behind the whole thing.
People also thought that Randy Moss and Bill Belichick would never get along, right?
Yeah, but I think Randy's a little bit different than Cam. I think Cam and Randy are a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Although Randy had a personality and stuff like that. He's not the quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Quarterback is a big deal, right? Because quarterback is the face of your program. When you're in the locker room and you want to like, oh, who should I act like? Oh, okay, I'll just act like the quarterback because that's who our team is, basically. So although Randy was a superstar who had a personality, and Chad Johnson, by the way, Chad Ochocinco went up there. So maybe, I don't know, if Belichick doesn't mind big personalities. I guess he doesn't. Maybe it's a misread by me.
But you bring those guys, those Randy and Chad, into an organization that had Tom, that had Willie McGinnis, that had Teddy Bruschi, that had all these leaders, that Richard Seymour had all these people there already in there and established as leaders, and like, this is how we do it. With Tom leaving and a couple other vets leaving, like, is the Patriot way, is the Patriot culture, if you bring Cam in, it might just shift to Cam's culture.
Well, or it's Julian Edelman's culture now, right?
Devin McCourty. I mean, those guys have been there for 10 years. They have the culture there. It's established.
It's the McCourtys and Edelman are now the standard, and Slater are the standard for the Patriot way. That's very interesting.
I mean, those guys don't carry the same weight as
what if
Richard
Julian
Seymour.
Edelman's
Edelman maybe, but McCourty, as good as he is, I'm sorry, he's just not carrying the same weight as Seymour and Bruschi and all those guys before him. He's not.
How's Nick know?
I mean, those guys
is Nick in the locker room? How does Nick know? Those guys were very good on our show. Had big personalities. Looked like they were guys that talk to people. Now Nick's saying the McCourtys. Nah, they ain't Bruschi.
I saw it happen with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It happens. Hines Ward retires. Bettis moves on. The generationals players just come and go, and eventually guys have to step up. Not everyone can.
That's a true story. That is a true story. Not everybody's going to be able to fill in, but there are some instances where it did happen in a successful fashion, and maybe you would think that the Belichick brain would be one to be able to figure it out, but it feels like this is dead, and it feels like Tampa's alive again. They just did full CPR. Clear! The electric things, paddles to Tampa Bay. That whole city's about to be.
Well, and then there was just that last kind of twisting of the knife when you find out that Brady's eating dinner with Jeter, a mortal enemy of Boston, and he's palling around with him down there.
And Gates.
That's Tom's stratosphere.
So did Bill Gates text Colin Cowherd then? It had to be somebody from that meeting, right? It had to be somebody from that meeting.
Had to be Jeter.
So there we go. So Jeter texted Colin Cowherd to tell him that
Jeter's an icon.
Jeter is an icon. He is at that level. And now there's being reports that the night before the decision came out, basically got leaked out, it was Derek Jeter, Bruce Arians. Is Bruce Arians there?
No. Tampa Bay Lightning owner.
Tampa Bay Lightning owner, Bill Gates, Derek Jeter, and
Tom Brady. Those four.
And Tom Brady, all meeting about what they can do in Tampa because Jeter lives there, I guess. Mm-hmm. The Tampa Bay Lightning owner, obviously. And then Bill Gates is building a bunch of real estate or land, is something down in Tampa Bay. How about Bill Gates, by the way? Now, granted, he just stepped down as CEO of Microsoft out of nowhere. I mean, that came out of nowhere on a Friday news dump right before that didn't get talked about enough. That did not get talked about enough. Bill Gates just stepped down from Microsoft. But anyways, now he's like, all right, Bill, where are you going? Or Tom, where are you going? You're going to Tampa? Oh, real estate's cheap. Let's just build an entire city around you. They got Brady Town in the middle of Tampa coming up. They got apartment complexes funded by Bill Gates. They got a TB12 treatment facility. There's going to be a casino somewhere in there. They're going to have an entire it's going to be Tom Brady Town in the middle of Tampa Bay. And that is just... That's a beautiful thought. And if they win a Super Bowl, nobody will care in Tampa. Like, you going down to Brady Town tonight? Yeah, I got a big St. Patrick's Day celebration over in Brady Town.
I forgot, and I didn't realize until you see Tom in those uniforms how bad those uniforms are. They're getting new ones, thank God. But
Is Tom designing the uniforms?
They're going back to the All-Star era uniforms.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get back to
They're
the
winning Super Bowls.
They're trying to get back to the All-Star era of football. All right, we got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side. This Michael Irvin thing that was said on Get Up this morning on ESPN about DeAndre Hopkins and Billy O, it starts to make a lot more sense on why he took a second rounder to get him out of there. He's been shopping him for a year, Michael Lombardi said. Michael Lombardi said a year ago that there was a massive wide receiver on the trade market, and he didn't want to reveal who it was. And then when it came out that he's getting traded this year, he was like, he was on the trading block last year too. That had to be interesting. The fact that DeAndre Hopkins could play through that is big for me. All right. We'll see you in about 4 minutes, I believe, is how long this break is. They're going to sell a lot of stuff during this. A lot of stuff. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month, with no contract, ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Foxy will be shooting these 10 shots from NBA 3 right at the top. Nick here will be shooting 10 hockey balls at the net, which has 4 targets in the corners. He will be in an office chair. He will not be allowed to move from the office chair. For each target that Nick hits, we will be giving away $1,000 to somebody in the comment section right now. For every shot that he makes, we will give away $1,000 to the commenters, to your Cash App or your Venmo. Do not cheat the Office Olympics like you're some fucking Russian. 1 for 1! The big bank shot, I did not expect that.
Are we playing 3-bar here? Are we trying to hit the targets, pal?
1 for 2 with a snipe on Fogel's face. That's $1,000 being given away to somebody in the comment section. Remember, this is the office's money. Okay, everybody's going through some stuff here. Let's not make it look too damn easy. 1 for 1. Kid from Williamston. Oh my God. Oh.
I see some dangles here, kid.
Oh, right down the center. You really blew it away there. 1 for 6. Ice cold from the kid from Michigan. Foxy? I have to do more than Evan Foxy did yesterday.
Oh, I don't know why he's going after that one. Hasn't done it yet.
I can already feel the underbettors who were kind of shaking in their boots after that first one, coming back to life. They went into a hole there. They're coming back. They knew this was potentially going to happen. Will Evan Foxy let the haters win?
You got to go top shelf here. It's a lot easier.
Top. Oh my God, so unfortunate. So unfortunate on the bounce.
I mean, he's absolutely pooped the bed today.
Yeah, 1 for 9.
Walking around like he's got cement in his skates.
There are a lot of people wondering, why do I always pick Evan Fox to do these giveaways? Oh, that's tough. Tried to backdoor Harvey Weinstein there. Evan Foxy going out on a high note. Is he the hero? Brick! All right, well, $1,000 goes to the commenters that said 1 at the beginning of this thing. There's that. We will give away $1,000 to the underbettors.
The perfect hire can have an impact on your business for years to come.
Damn right.
So when you need to find that next person to help grow your business, LinkedIn Jobs will match the right talent with your open role fast.
Wow.
LinkedIn has over 675 million members worldwide. LinkedIn Jobs screens candidates with the hard and soft skills you're looking for so you can hire the right person fast. Soft skills are things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job posts in front of qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly. That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire. People with skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help your business grow. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with LinkedIn.
Wow.
And why companies rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivering quality hires. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/Pat to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, way to go, LinkedIn. And you, Tone. Good reading. It's not easy to read like that. LinkedIn just hired somebody. It's been 8 seconds. They just hired somebody else. It's been 8 seconds. A lot of people looking for gigs right now. If you're in the service industry, I understand that like ticketing industry, arena industry, the service industry right now is getting absolutely crushed. The people that, take care of us whenever we need stuff is getting absolutely crushed right now. I think in Indiana, we're going to try to help out some groups of people, right? Because here in Indiana, our service industry, bars and restaurants, are a massive deal because the conventions that come to town, the sporting events that come to town, the people that represent our city to all these people that come are the people that work in the bars and the restaurants and the hotels. And right now they're getting crushed. I think we're going to be trying to help those people out a bit. And obviously, if you're in a position to help everywhere else, do it. If you're not, know that we're trying our best to keep everybody going during this whole thing. That's why at 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to be eating a Carolina Reaper pepper. That's going to be excruciating. It's going to be terrible.
It's not going to be good.
I was watching videos last night of other people that have eaten these peppers and stuff like that. It is not a good reaction. Billy Tubes puked 42 seconds after eating it.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it today at 3 o'clock on our YouTube, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. If you're bored and have nothing going on and want to potentially win some money, I'm eating a Carolina Reaper pepper. And for every second after that Reaper pepper goes in my mouth that I don't reach for a G Fuel drink, okay, because G Fuel is getting on board. They want to pay the prize out. For every second that I last before we're reaching for a drink, we're putting $25 into a kitty to go. So if I go for 1 minute, it's $1,500. 2 minutes, $3,000. You get and do the math I'm going to try to hold on for as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding on as long as I can because it's not our money we're giving away. So all you have to do is be in the comments of our YouTube at 3 o'clock, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. And you have to have a Cash App or a Venmo. And then you'll comment with that. And for however long I last, that money's going into a pool. And then we'll be randomly giving it away in our comment section. So we hope we can give some money away. It's not our money. It's G Fuel's money. By the way, G Fuel wants to help out too. They saw what we were doing the first 2 days of Office Olympics, giving away money. And G Fuel's like, hey, we would like to give away some money. We're like, you know what? Came to the right place, pal. We'll give away your money for sure.
Good energy from that G Fuel.
Good energy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it is really good. It's for gamers. I didn't know it exists because I'm not big in the gaming world. That's Zito's world. But Zito and Billy drink a tub a day.
Bill lives
Bill goes
on
home and hooks up an IV to his arm.
Yeah.
That's hanging from the ceiling.
Bill is Billy Tubes. Was that on the air? Don, our ear guy, just said, I beg you not to do that. So I guess that's probably something we have to clear up.
Do not
do.
Not hook up an IV bag of G Fuel.
But I've been drinking G Fuel here this morning because they said they want to get in. They said it. Hey, pretty
It's
good.
delicious.
It is very good tasting.
A
And
lot of different flavors.
Not that bad of a crash. And they're giving away money this afternoon, 3 o'clock at our YouTube for however long I can last after eating a Carolina Reaper pepper, which is people say the hottest pepper on earth. For every second, we're giving away at least $25. And hopefully I'll be able to hold on for 3-4 minutes. I'm a pretty mentally tough guy.
You are.
But boy, I'm 32 now, And Billy said it's not just your mouth. It's like your heart starts hurting.
Your gut.
Your gut and lungs start hurting because that thing's just going down like lava into your entire soul.
That's why I had to fake eat it before.
Yeah, we did a hot chocolate challenge. The boys at the office did whenever I was out of town. And everybody did it except for Diggs. Diggs put in fake chocolate in his bar and ate it and just sat there and walked off the screen while Nick's throat was swollen up.
Coward.
Well, no, you heard the heart and stuff. I got an issue. Can't roll those dice.
I was crying.
All right, let's get to some more.
You rubbed your eye though, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, you made all the bad decisions.
Don't touch
in
your
the
face.
Worst night of my life.
Lesson learned.
Practice coronavirus rules. Do not touch your face while eating this Pepper.
Yeah, exactly. Don't sneeze on people either.
No.
Could you imagine I come over and just sneeze on Ty's whole face starts like
pepper
It's like
spray.
pepper. Like live PD coming up. All right, let's take a call real quick from Sterling in Houston because I think this will transition into what we want to talk about. Sterling, what's going on? This is professional radio show host stuff, by the way. What's up, Sterling?
Hey, what's good, boys?
Hey, just hanging out. How are you, man?
I'm chilling, bro. Off the vitamins. Just a question for you, Pat. Out of the AFC South, who was the hardest team you played against, bro?
All right, so we always had great battles, obviously, with the Houston Texans, and that's why he called to ask that, because Houston needs to hear a compliment about the Houston Texans at this moment, because it's been very bad publicly. Every time we played down in Houston, it was a primetime game, it was a big game for the AFC South, because normally the AFC South championship was on the line with them. It was us, it was them, it was basically every single year. And Thursday nights down there, and they're a fan base that doesn't get enough credit for how loud and passionate they are. They had the Oilers way back in the day, and then remember the Oilers just hopped up and left. Then when the Texans came back, I think people kind of forgot that Houston's like the third largest city in the country or something like that. It's third or fourth largest city in the country. It's a massive city. Takes up a lot of space, but their fan base is awesome. Very, very loud. And I didn't expect that whenever we went down there. That was the first time like my ears were ringing in a game, you know what I mean? And you take your helmet off afterwards and you can't really hear things. But that's the stuff I love that type of environment. That's what sports are supposed to be, by the way. Sports are supposed to be, people getting riled up for their teams and keeping it moving. By the way, that's why I like Phillip Rivers, which we'll talk about later this hour. Most of Indianapolis seems to not have liked this Phillip Rivers signing, but we'll talk about that. I think he's still got some left in the tank. He's one of the most competitive humans I've ever watched. If you can keep those competitive juices flowing, that's good. But I think that's what sports is supposed to be. So anytime you played Houston, we knew it was going to be a problem. And then T.Y. Hilton obviously became this animal against Houston. That's why he was such a big deal. That's basically T.Y. came alive against Houston early in his career, and then he's kind of taken off since there. But whenever we found out just the other day that DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the game. It's not like he's like a top 10 receiver. It's like this guy is in the conversation of who the best wide receiver in football is. Now you can't pick which one wide receiver is the best wide receiver in football because not all of them have the same quarterback throwing the ball to them. And if you're in a position where you can only be an impact when somebody else chooses to get you the ball or how they get you the ball, it's hard to say this person is the outright best wide receiver in the game. But Nuke would be a part of those conversations no matter how it's happening. This guy just made plays that you're not supposed to make. His hands are the size of catcher's mitts. I mean, he goes up there and gets it. And then the story comes out about his mom and everything last year. And you're like, man, this is a dude that is a dude. This is a guy that you want on your team. Then the videos from training camp when he was on Hard Knocks, when he talked to D'Angelo Hall, and he was like, D'Angelo?
Yeah.
D'Angelo Hall was like patting him on his shoulder when he was on the Redskins, and Nuke was on the Texans, and he was patting him on the shoulder. He's like, hey, trying to like teach him. And DeAndre Hopkins was like, don't you and me on the same level. You are not teaching me things, okay? I don't care if you're older than me. This is not how this is going to go. And then he
ACL.
tore his ACL on the
Achilles,
next round. Yeah, his Achilles or his ACL on the next round. Like DeAndre Hopkins is a guy who's competitive. It feels like he always shows up and makes big plays. So whenever you hear that the Texans are trading him away for a second-round pick in a running back who hasn't been the same for a couple of years, it was very interesting. And then the immediate thought of everybody in here, because of having a little bit of an inside look at the way the NFL is run, because humans are involved in this thing, there had to be a personal beef is what everybody said. But nothing had been leaked out. Nothing had come out until this morning when Michael Irvin was on Get Up, who, by the way, shout out to Greeny and the Get Up team, still putting on a show. They got people FaceTiming in from their rooms, which we will judge in everybody's little backdrop here within the next hour and a half or so. But they're still doing a show, which I appreciate because they're entertaining the masses during times that need it. But they had an interview with Michael Irvin this morning, calling us from what might have been the basement of a YMCA or a church. And this is what he had to say about DeAndre Hopkins and Billy O'Brien.
I couldn't rest my mind on it. I called him again 24 hours later, like late yesterday, and then he was willing to talk more. And I said, tell me what happened in Houston. And he went into it. He told me, he said, Michael, it was a bit of a power struggle there because Coach O'Brien thought he had too much influence over the locker room. He called DeAndre Hopkins in a meeting to talk about this and to kind of just hash it out. In that meeting, he started the meeting with telling DeAndre Hopkins this. That blew my mind when DeAndre told me this. He told DeAndre Hopkins, he said, hey, the last time I had to have a meeting like this, it was with Aaron Hernandez. I was like, what? He put in Aaron Hernandez in this meeting? He said, yes, he did. He said, Michael, that blew my mind that he would even bring that up. I've never been in any trouble. I don't know why would he equate me with Aaron Hernandez. And from there, the meeting just deteriorated. You know, he got into talking about DeAndre Hopkins, because DeAndre Hopkins has a few kids and from different women. And he said, you know, he told DeAndre he doesn't like that he has his baby mamas around sometimes. And from that, I think the relationship just went bad. And thus, we got a trade of DeAndre Hopkins from Houston for basically.
I couldn't take that guy breathing. Whoever recorded that, we thank you for putting that video up. But that I was going crazy. I almost, if you're listening there, nobody in this office was breathing into their microphone like that. I don't know. That almost felt worse than listening to that, than the Reaper Pepper's going to feel. I couldn't take that guy breathing directly into that thing. But the things that were being said there from Michael Irvin that he was told from DeAndre Hopkins, by the way, no clue if DeAndre Hopkins wanted that information to be released. We'll be excited to see if there's a rebuttal from either side there about this, because this is pretty bomb dropping, right? This is, okay, so now we know exactly why DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best players in the game, was shifted out of Houston for a second-round pick and David Johnson. And there was 2 exchange fourth picks. Those are basically the same thing. So I think the thing that gets forgotten, and I talk about this in many different occasions, some players are not going to play their best every single day because it's not a video game, right? Not every player is a 99 every single day. Like their rating is a 96, 97, or a 76 or a 77. Some days that 76, 77 might show up at 98. And some days that 98 might show up at a 76 because in real life you have emotions, you have feelings, you have egos, you have pride. And there's always a situation potentially brewing whenever you have a lot of bravado, a lot of egos, and a lot of success where people can butt heads. It feels as if I've been in a situation like this. The general manager that I worked for at the end of my career did not like me. It was very obvious. And to be honest, I hated going into work to perform in those situations. The fact that DeAndre Hopkins definitely did not get along with Billy O'Brien, right? The fact he's telling Michael Irvin this story to begin with is already a sign that he does not love Bill O'Brien. And obviously, Bill O'Brien traded one of the best wide receivers in the game for a second-round pick. He does not love DeAndre Hopkins. These are things that definitely happen more often than people could imagine. People said it happened between Belichick and Tom. People said that it happened between Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger. Emotions are real, especially at a very high level. So I'm happy for DeAndre Hopkins to get to a place where it seems like he's going to enjoy. I would assume if Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim are going, to bring him into the roster, that's a place that's going to embrace him. That's a place that's going to like his leadership. They're going to like him bringing his family around, which is a wild take for Bill O'Brien to say he doesn't like his baby mamas around. Would you rather his baby mamas weren't around? He was a bad dad and didn't get along. Would that drama be better? I mean, there's just a couple things there. We have to assume that maybe there is a middle lying ground here between the truth and what was told. But I'm happy for both of them if this is going to clear it up. But for DeAndre Hopkins, even more so, that he's going to get a chance to go to and thrive and hopefully be liked, because that's obviously going to feel better for him each day to get out there.
After the trade, I stumbled down a couple Billy O'Brien Twitter wormholes, and Houston already did not like Bill O'Brien. When this comes out, Houston is just there. He's going to have zero backing in that entire city.
All right. Well, we have to get to a break because we got Benjamin Watson on the other side. Benjamin Watson played in the NFL for a long time, was drafted to the Patriots in 2004. When you're general manager, you're a gatekeeper to somebody's dreams and success. And if you butt heads with somebody, that could potentially be a problem, because you obviously have more power than that person. But what if that person's better than you are at your job? A friend of mine was once in that position. It was hard for him to keep his mouth shut. We'll be back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no-contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G-ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Your motivational speech for our listeners to come back to McAfee and Hawk, a sports show, tomorrow.
So, yeah, I'm not doing an inspirational thing. You like to do this and try to paint me into a corner and get all your little buddies to cheer and rally around and have the sarcastic cheer for me to do something like that.
No, that's not what we do at all. You don't know us at all.
So, yeah, I know your game. I'm older than all of you, too, I believe. So, like, it's not like I'm the little brother that you're taking advantage of. That's what you try to do here in these moments. I know.
No.
So I could hearing the guys' voices in the background. AJ. But yeah, I think right now we're in the weirdest time ever, Pat. We really are.
Yeah, we are.
It's a brutal, weird time. Stop clapping for me. It's not a motivational talk.
Yeah, it is. Let's go.
You have a 10 to 12 radio show still every day, correct?
Oh yeah, I do.
So yeah, most likely at 1 p.m. daily, we're going to go on here and we're going to talk about what's going on and see free agency in the world.
Where's a wall for me to run through? Thank you for that, AJ.
This is so stupid.
That's what we're talking about, AJ. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.
Let's get it. Let's go. Dream house is a tour bus. Scream loud that you knew us. Deep down on the new plug. You ain't about to get too dust. Pete's frown when they crew scrubs. Sweet sound from the two subs. Beats loud as a move, bruh. Lead the crowd like, ooh, what? Long hair on the big body. 210s, both sitting shoddy. Crack a fit, start getting rowdy. Blowing nose, looking like an Audi. It's Uncle Sam without the taxes. Crowd stands up, I keep them loud. I made this beat, you hear it smacking? Who is 30? Hand me a napkin. You probably wasn't expecting this. Expected this?
One fucking page.
I don't have to worry about the coronavirus anymore.
Like a fucking bomb went off. It's like,
dude, I saw there's the fucking net. Oh, dude, what's going on?
Everyone's a comedian, all right? Steve Jobs used to dip his feet in toilet water randomly.
I bet they still smelled better than yours. Yours a woman?
I
Are
can
you?
see
You're a dame?
Tony's brain cells just exploding into thin air.
Do you think that steer ever looks back at you and goes, son of a
Is that when you
bitch,
tie
I
the
got
legs?
big
for
one."
them?
I'm sold. I'm in. He got me.
Suck it. All you guys.
Jame, duty, match.
These guys got in there, undid their suitcases, just dumped all their.
Well, you have to remember. Well, yeah, not for me. What's the matter with a
Jeez, son of a bitch, can I not get the alcoholic cowboys?
And, babe, it's time to go to war.
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 40 minutes after the hour, and I apologize to this man for being about 10 minutes late because of the DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Irvin, Billy O'Brien situation. But joining us now is a man that played in the NFL for 15 years. He's a Super Bowl champion, was drafted to the Patriots in the first round of the 2004 NFL Draft, played with Tom for a long time, and Drew Brees, and he played for the Browns for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin White.
Yeah, Ben! Woo! How you guys doing?
Ben, thank you so much for joining us. I apologize for being a little bit late. That news about DeAndre Hopkins and Billy O'Brien's relationship broke this morning on Get Up shortly after you were on there, so I apologize.
There's always some stories breaking, especially nowadays, huh?
Yeah, by the way, let's get right to it. Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. Have you ever played with Bruce Arians in a Bruce Arians-style offense or a Bruce Arians-style team? You have played with Tom Brady for a long time. How do you think that fit is going to be both schematically and personally between the two of them?
I have not played with Bruce. I never even met him, but I hear great things about him. Obviously, offensively, he's one of those guys that's kind of very, very well respected when it comes to NFL circles. Tom is Tom, and I got to believe that for him to go there, there's an understanding of kind of a melting of the two styles. Tom is a guy that's not just going to go somewhere just to play at this point. He's going somewhere to win. He's also going somewhere where he's going to have some sort of control, some sort of input, I think, in the offense. Going somewhere where he has the weapons that he wants and he thinks that he can help build. Somebody that's 40-something years old wants to have some sort of control and input when it comes to the efforts that he's going to put forth on the field. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Okay, let's talk about that 40 years old and wanting to have some input on the efforts on the field and everything like that. I got a chance to play alongside Peyton, deep down the roster behind Peyton Manning. And he ran everything, literally ran everything. If he wanted to, he could run everything in the building if he wanted to. I don't think he did. Mostly the football stuff. If he wanted to repeat stuff or shorten practice or lengthen practice, a workout, Peyton Manning could do that. So when Andrew Luck came in, I wanted Andrew Luck to be more like Peyton Manning. I wanted Andrew Luck to get in. By the way, that's a tall task to do to a 22-year-old or a 23-year-old to say, hey, you're a CEO of a team now. If you want a guy cut, you go up to that head coach or GM and say, hey, I want this guy on my team. I don't want this guy on my team. From what Aqib Talib and what everybody has said that has basically talked about how Tom Brady gets treated the exact same as everybody else by Bill Belichick, did he have any of that type of say? And were the meetings where Tom Brady would get laser pointed in front of everybody, was that blown out of proportion, or is that accurate? Tom Brady was just treated as a rookie basically his entire career. And if that's the case, I can definitely see how he would get upset about that relationship after 20 years of that type of thing happening.
Yeah. Well, Coach Belichick doesn't have a lot of favoritism. But I think that even within that, obviously there are levels. There are certain levels of respect. But when we get in those team meeting rooms, as you've heard, he treats everybody the same. I remember him telling Junior Seau one time, this is not how we do it. And everybody was appalled, couldn't believe he would talk to Junior that way. But I think that's part of the reason why they've been so successful. And he's been so successful is because he's able to stay even keel. He's able to treat everybody the same. And guys, whether they like it or not, they respect it. That being said, he's kind of one of a kind in that way. You're probably not going to see that often when you go to other places. At least when I've been in other places, there are obviously certain levels of respect that come with guys, how much of a veteran they are or how well respected they are on the team. So I don't know how much that played into it, but I do think that this is Tom's first time being a free agent, getting to this place. And there's something about free agency, being able to experience going on the open market, being courted again, being drawn to different places, being able to step away and say, these are my demands moving forward if I'm going to play in X, Y, and Z place. And you don't have that when you're not a free agent. You don't have that when you're under contract somewhere. So I do think that may have played a part of his decision. But even so, he's already said how much he appreciates New England and his legacy, as you know, and as Peyton Manning's legacy. That's not going to change. The guy's had 2 Hall of Fame careers in a Patriot uniform. Wherever he goes from here, Tampa, it didn't matter. That's not changing what he's done here.
That's so funny. Yeah, because if you split up his career, He won 4 at one place and won 2 at the other, or he won 3 and 3, or any of those. Those are all Hall of Fame. His first 10 years and his last 10 years, both Hall of Fame careers in of themselves. Now he's going to end up potentially breaking a lot of records in Tampa Bay Buccaneer uniforms. What do you expect from that team? Do you think they win a Super Bowl now that they have that leadership? They went from 40-1 to 22-1, or 22-1 overnight for Super Bowl odds. How do you feel about their chances down in Tampa Bay?
One thing I know is that to win a Super Bowl in this era, you need a high caliber functioning quarterback. The quarterback is the premier position. So immediately, any team that takes a Tom Brady, their chances of winning a Super Bowl are going to increase exponentially. I also know, having played 16 years and watched a lot of football before that it is impossible to know who's going to win a Super Bowl. The odds are always there. You know, the Patriots are going to be in the mix. There are certain teams that are going to be in the mix all the time, you know, over time, but you just don't know who's going to emerge from that. So I don't know if they're going to win a Super Bowl. I do know, however, that the Super Bowl is in Tampa. Mm-hmm. I do know, however, that if I'm not mistaken, you're a bigger guru than me. There have been no teams that have won a Super Bowl in their home field. So there are a lot of opportunities there when you think about this marriage between Tom Brady and Tampa Bay at this point.
We shortened you by a year there in the introduction, 15 years. That's on.
And you know how important that 401k is.
Oh, yeah.
You need all those years, especially with all these kids.
How many kids? Are you homeschooling right now?
We're not. We have homeschooled before. We're not homeschooling now, although the kids are at home now. We have 7. So we have 5 school-age kids, and then we have identical twin boys that are 10 months old.
Benjamin Watson, 16 years in the NFL. Are you going to just try to have a kid for every year you played in the NFL?
No, we have a kid for every day of the week, though.
Last question before you. Diggs has one for you. You've got a chance to play in some bad organizations and some great organizations, right? And no shot at the Browns. It's just been – that's kind of what it's been. And you got a chance to play for the Saints whenever Drew Brees was there, and obviously for the Patriots when Tom Brady was there. How can you explain to people what a winning culture looks like versus what a potential losing culture looks like? What are the biggest differences between the places you've had great success and the places that don't always have success?
Well, the biggest thing is consistency. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean performance. I mean from the top. Being in Cleveland, I was there for 3 years. Great historic organization, but they've had too much turnover to be successful.
Yeah.
When I was there, they had 2 different owners. We transitioned from Mr. Lerner to Mr. Haslam. When you have turnover in ownership, that's difficult. Then you have turnover in the coaching staff every 2 years there. So it's not that they can't be good. It's just that you have to stick with what's going on. You have to stick with your people long enough to get over that hump. I was in Baltimore for 2 years, an organization that has a lot of stability. They've had great ownership in Mr. Bisciotti. They've had, GM and Ozzie. Head coach has been there. Harbaugh's been there for an extended period of time. The same in New Orleans. Obviously the same here in New England. And so the biggest difference is really having that consistency from a leadership standpoint. And then it's who's calling the plays and who's taking the snap from under center.
I have this.
You can't have multiple people at quarterback and expect to be successful in a very quarterback-driven league.
Diggs has a question. Oh, here we go. I wrote this in my notes section on a flight home from an NFL game in 2015 when I was talking to a couple of the OGs about how good teams keep people around, kind of see their vision through, where other teams, they kind of cut too early or they potentially are scared to get locked onto a bad thing. But I think the world that we're in right now potentially pushes teams to make decisions quicker. I wrote this in 2015. The fear of the perception of complacency has changed the NFL immensely. Owners, GMs, coaches fear the thought of fans thinking they have become complacent. A couple games lost, a bad season nowadays means change has to occur. We live in an instant gratification society. We want everything now. Our news, our entertainment, and what I'm referring to in this particular case is our team's success and our outlet in NFL at all the time. This thought process is not a negative one. People should expect greatness all the time, but sometimes it takes a little bit to grow some greatness. And I think the world we live in right now with fans and teams being able to see exactly what their fans think, right? Teams are able to see exactly what their fans think. Phillip Rivers was signed here to the Colts yesterday. In Twitter, The Indianapolis Twitter is not happy about it. And now the Colts get to see that. Like, the Colts are actually getting where it once might have been like a reporter writing for the paper, and you could just mentally compartmentalize that as, oh, he's just a hater, he's a negative. Now, like, you actually see what the fans are saying. And I think that's why some of these bad organizations are always tending to make new moves, because they're kind of fear that their fans are going to think they're complacent with sucking, when sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to get to the greatness.
Yeah, Coach Belichick has a slogan. He says, ignore the noise. Ignore the noise. And a lot of that is noise. There are people that have opinions that really don't matter. They don't know what's going on inside of the building. Their opinion is going to change tomorrow if you win. It's going to change the next day if you lose. They have nothing else to do other than to micromanage everything that you're doing that they have no control over. And so ignoring the noise, it doesn't mean we don't respect your opinion. Obviously, the fans are important. They're vital to the success of the NFL. But at the same time, if you're in management, you have to be able to stick with the plan. But also what happens is, you have people that are managers, head coaches, or general managers, and there's ownership that is hearing all of this, and they want to be proud of the product that they're putting on the field. They've got friends in high places.
Oh, yeah.
And so it kind of trickles down, and so that's when you see the turnover. But stuff doesn't happen overnight, especially in football. You know this. You've got 22 guys on the starting offensive defense. You've got guys in special teams. You got a 53-man roster. You got 46 guys, when you play. And it's not like basketball where you can buy 5 players and almost guarantee yourself a championship. Football is totally different.
Or one, if you bring LeBron.
You're right. Or 1 or 2. I mean, football is totally different, but you make a good point about this time of instant gratification. That there's not much patience. And also, when you talk about the money that's involved, I can't say that if I'm an owner, I wouldn't be kind of impatient as well. So I might be in that boat too.
Last question for Diggs.
Being in New England this year, was there any indication throughout the year in the locker room or in the organization that this could potentially happen with Tom leaving?
Definitely was a potential, because we all knew he was going to be a free agent. Anytime you're coming in the last year of the contract, whether you're a quarterback or not, obviously a lot of times with quarterbacks, we just assume that they're going to get something worked out. We assume that, both sides are going to come to some sort of agreement. But this was uncharted territory in the NFL, period. To have a guy that has been there, won 6 Super Bowls, been there for 20 years, and this is, one of the first times he's actually going to be a free agent. So there was an understanding. And even in speaking with him, our lockers were beside each other. He didn't tell me any secrets about where he's going, but we did have conversations like old guys have, in the locker room together, talking about our families and what's best for our families, what our future holds, those sorts of great conversations that we had. And so there was definitely throughout the locker room the understanding that this year was the only year that was promised. And I think that we all know that, whether it's because of an injury, somebody's career ends, or whether it's because of free agency, or whether they just decide to move on. One thing in football is, that every year could be the end of whatever it is. And I think that urgency is also kind of what has made the Patriots great, because we play with the sense of urgency, understanding that this is the window. The window is today. The window is this meeting. The window is this game. It's this season. You don't know what's happening outside of that. So I wouldn't sit here and say that anybody in the locker room knew it was going to be Tampa, or anybody knew he was going to, leave in free agency. But we all knew that we all have a right to decide whether we want to go in free agency or not. And everybody respect that. I think everybody cherished this year, knowing that it could be 5 or 10 more years here in New England, or it could be 5 or 10 more years somewhere else.
Did you ever feed your kids avocado ice cream after those conversations with Tom Brady?
I did not, but a lot of avocado, though. We do eat avocado. Actually, I eat it myself. It's great brain food. Those healthy fats are really amazing for you. So I eat that every day. Also, the kids, it's great baby food, avocados. Like, if you don't have, the actual baby food, you cut an avocado in half, slice it up, mush it up. Babies love avocados. Guacamole is great, too.
We need to get you an avocado deal, and we have to get to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, 16-year NFL tight end and Super Bowl champ, former first-round pick of the New England Patriots, Benjamin Watson. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, my friend.
That was awesome. Great question, Diggs. Great question.
Just hoping for something.
Yeah, he actually told me, I think it was week 8. You know that one where he was wearing that hooded sweatshirt and he looked dejected in the press conference? He told me in the locker room the next day he was done with this stupid place. Was his exact words.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of this stupid place. We got a hard out coming in about 20 seconds. We missed an ad read. Ty will get that in the second hour. Spencer, Ben, Patrick, Seth, Cameron, and Nate who are on the phones. We'll get to you guys. And we have Cam Heyward of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got another great hour coming for you. Go take a dump. Lock it down. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
One by one, it's happening. People are freeing themselves from the hassle and frustration of their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Simple Mobile. Truly unlimited, high-speed talk, text, and data on a 5G-ready network. And no contract. Ever. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Coronavirus ain't stopping us from getting a fucking pump on, all right? First, let's get some push-ups in. We up, we up, we up, we up, we up, we up, we up. That's one. When I dip, you dip, we 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 dip. Oh, God. That's what I thought. Now wall sit for about 20, 30 minutes straight. And that's it. Some of you might be thinking, that sounds a lot like a prison workout. And that might be where I learned this one night for an alleged incident. But stay in shape. Don't let COVID-19 boss you around.
vacation, 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is Chase Rice, who will be joining us on Monday at 11:30. By the way, a lot of people currently locked down in their house with not a lot to do. I think our guest list could potentially be raised a little bit. In the first hour, we had Benjamin Watson. In this hour, we'll have Cam Heyward of the Pittsburgh Steelers talking about all things happening. The free agency world is a wild one. It officially starts at 4 p.m. today, although every deal we basically know about, the high-profile ones, there's still a lot of names still out there. Jadeveon Clowney, where's he going? Some people say potentially the Colts. That would be awesome, especially with the DeForest Buckner signing. But he could also end up with the Giants as well, who need something on the defensive side. Melvin Gordon, Chris Harris, Dante Fowler, Logan Ryan, Robbie Anderson, Emmanuel Sanders. Just some of the names that are going to be in this second wave of announcements for free agency, although the big ones were already taken care of. Tom Brady's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. DeAndre Hopkins was traded to the Arizona Cardinals. Stephon Diggs was traded to the Buffalo Bills. Teddy Bridgewater signed a $63 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. Drew Brees signed a 2-year, $50 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. Kyle Van Noy signed a $53 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. Friend of the show. Was supposed to call in yesterday. I didn't text him back quick enough. That's on me not being a professional enough host. Could have talked to a guy that just secured a massive bag immediately after signing for said massive bag. Also, Phillip Rivers was signed to the Indianapolis Colts for a $25 million one-year deal. When this announcement was made that there was sources saying that the deal was all but done, we put it out there, by the way, a few weeks ago that Phillip Rivers was coming to the Colts just because the Frank Reich relationship seemed to be one that was very close. Frank Reich, now head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, was Phillip Rivers' offensive coordinator in San Diego. They had a lot of success. Rumors are coming out that the Indianapolis Colts also reached out to another quarterback that Frank Reich had coached to a lot of success, Nick Foles of the Jacksonville Jaguars, for a potential trade, but the Jaguars wouldn't budge because it's inside their own division. So they pulled the trigger on another older white man who was retiring in Florida, and that would be old Phillip Rivers. Indianapolis Colts fans are not happy about this. Now, granted, it could be a loud minority of Colts fans that are speaking out against us on Twitter, but boy, it feels like these Colts fans do not like Phillip Rivers. They think he's old. They think he's going to be a statue, and they still remember in 2007 and 2008 when Phillip Rivers and the Chargers came into the Colts house and beat them. Now, granted, that second game in 2008, whenever the Los Angeles or San Diego Chargers beat the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis, Mike Cyphers dominated that game as their punter. Hunter Smith actually got moved on to another place. I got hired because of Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, basically. So there's a reason for me to have a little bit more of a gratitude to Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. But Phillip Rivers is going to be a Colt, and it doesn't feel as if the Indianapolis Colts fans absolutely love that. And let me tell you something, Colts fans. I understand that, just like me, Jacoby Brissett last year for the first half of the season before our guest in 10 minutes, Cam Heyward, picked up Quentin Nelson and dumped him on Jacoby Brissett's knee. Jacoby Brissett was an MVP-like quarterback. I was even saying that. MVP-like quarterback. He was coming in circumstances that were unprecedented. The starting quarterback, the once-in-a-generation quarterback, retired 10 days before the season. 10 days before the season, the starting once-in-a-generation quarterback retired. Jacoby Brissett stepped up, got paid $20 million to do so, and for the first half of the season looked incredible. Then he got hurt in the last half of the season. He sat out a game. Hoyer came in, threw 45 interceptions, and Jacoby Brissett comes in, and he did not look great. And then when Chris Ballard had to address the question at the podium after the season, where I think he talked for an hour and 30 minutes or something like that to the press, basically answered everything. They talked about Jacoby Brissett's future, and he said, we didn't know if he was our future or not. That's why we only gave him a 2-year deal or whatever. So he left it a big question mark, like what was going to happen in the future. And Phillip Rivers is a guy who has played good football for a long time, just never been able to win the Super Bowl. And all Indianapolis Colts and some of the Chargers fans who see him leaving have been tweeting to us whenever we mention this, is just wait until he throws an interception late in the game to lose it for you. That's what Phillip Rivers is going to do. Because I put out a video of him trash talking yesterday in Jacksonville, and he didn't even swear. He's like in his 40th year in the NFL, and he's still trash talking defensive linemen. Like, I love everything about that. I like a guy who chirps. Now, granted, he doesn't swear. He chirps a lot different than I would ever do it. But I like somebody who has that competitive juices. I understand it looked like he was throwing a med ball there towards the end of the season a little bit. But I think he was potentially knowing that his time at the Chargers was about done. He didn't move to L.A. He was still driving from San Diego. I think he was just huck and chuck and just trying to move on as fast as possible. If he still has any good throws left in that arm, I think he'll be good for the Indianapolis Colts. That's a good team. Now, Colts fans are seeing a lot of these other free agent quarterbacks get signed. Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, to just name a few. Now Cam Newton's on the trading block. And they're like, well, you took Phillip Rivers over all these people. It seems like Chris Ballard said this was a good move because Frank Reich and his relationship is a deep one. But now what do you do with Jacoby? Do you keep Jacoby? No, I think you have to trade Jacoby. So now all of a sudden, Jacoby Brissett, who was the starting quarterback last year, who the locker room loved, by the way. He led the locker room when Andrew Luck was the quarterback. Then he becomes a starter, has success. The locker room loved him. Now you're bringing in Phillip Rivers on a 1-year deal. How is that relationship going to go? Jacoby Brissett, by all counts, cool dude, good dude. But how's that relationship going to go? Is Chris Ballard going to have to move Jacoby? And does Jacoby Brissett end up back at the New England Patriots on a restructured deal in Josh McDaniels' offense that he came from? It's possible, but nobody will ever truly know until it happens.
Go ahead.
Do you think Colts fans would have been upset if it was Nick Foles too? Like or do you think they would have been happy, or they just don't like Phillip Rivers? Because
there's videos on the internet of Phillip Rivers and 5 whites from Indianapolis who are fans of the Colts after that playoff game ended, and Phillip Rivers is chirping with those fans, and those fans are flipping him off. Now, there's been people showing up in my mentions after tweeting about Phillip Rivers coming to the Colts. They're like, he said F you to my mama. I'm like, by the way, I don't think Phillip Rivers ever said that. I think your mama's potentially lying about what Phillip Rivers said, because in the heat of battle here, with other people swearing at him, including the ref when he's mic'd up, he doesn't swear. Like, I don't think Phillip Rivers swears. And that's why I think when he gets to Indianapolis and he throws a touchdown or two and he does an interview and people see who he is here in Indianapolis, I think Phillip Rivers is going to be beloved. But until then, Colts fans are like, he's going to have to prove that he wants to be here for me to really want to be a fan. He flipped off my mama, and you're telling me he didn't swear? Well, he did it with his eyes then. We all knew what he meant. That's how Colts fans feel about Phillip Rivers right now. But Phillip Rivers, I think he could be good for the team, just that competitive juice. And he is driven to win a Super Bowl, by the way, more than any of these other older Now, no offense to Tom Brady. He is driven for greatness. Obviously, TB12 treatment is a mindset. He has that Mamba mentality like Kobe. Same with Kobe, like Drew Brees. But this is a guy who doesn't have one. So the question is, will he be able to get one? Is he a guy that can win the big one? And is he a guy that will be able to get it with this team? That is to be seen. But what do you do with Jacoby Brissett? That's a massive decision he's going to have to make.
Yeah, the Jacoby part is tough. But obviously, like you said, like they're not sold that he's the guy. So why not bring in Phil for 1 year? If he stinks and they're not any good, then you get rid of him. You're not committing to him for the next 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's a trial by error type of thing. And then what if they go out and win the division next year? I mean,
they're saying you could franchise tag Phillip Rivers next year too. So it's even if he has a good year and you can't restructure a deal or whatever, you can franchise tag him. And now, I'm granted, at this level in his career and stage in his career, in the way Chris Ballard operates, in the way Frank Reich operates, in the way Phil Rivers operates, I would assume they'd be able to figure something out. But everybody's like, well, if they want him for another year, they can just franchise tag him, which probably smart. Next year's franchise tag probably be like $38 million or something like that. It's $33 million this year. I assume it's only going to go up when Patrick Mahomes gets his deal done. That's only going to lift up the franchise tag.
I think what Colts fans have to realize is that people are in their positions because they're smart. Ballard and Reich have got to watch Jacoby now for a couple years. If they trusted that he was the quarterback that could win them a Super Bowl, they wouldn't have gone out and looked at Phil Rivers or Nick Foles.
And by the way, Chris Ballard was put in a position last year where they were like, oh, let's see what we got with Jacoby. Literally, we have to see what we got with Jacoby. We brought him in here for a reason. The locker room loves him. Let's see what it is. And Jacoby played great football. And I think that's where a lot of Colts fans are. They're like, this kid played really good until he got hurt. And then he didn't. But if Ballard and Frank say we need to move on, I would trust the people that are watching film every single day.
Yeah.
Chris Ballard hasn't made that many mistakes.
No.
I honestly don't think Chris Ballard has made that many mistakes since coming to the Colts. They haven't won as much, but I don't think he's made that many mistakes. It's like when you gamble and you pick the right team and they don't play. You know what I mean? Diggs, you know what I mean.
Happens a lot. Like the players are supposed to do what they're supposed to do, and then sometimes they just don't do what they're supposed to do.
Started betting on horses last night.
How'd that go?
I'm not ready to, start giving out picks or anything like that, but did pretty good. I mean, it scratched the itch, by the way. That I needed. That thing takes off, and you immediately see if your guy's got a shot or not. And it just drops to the back. You're like, damn it. Right? And then you talk to real horse people. They're like, well, he's a closer or it's a closer, whatever. I don't know any of that information. So as soon as I see my color just drop to the back, I'm like, damn it. But if it gets up in the front, I am smacking in the living room for that thing to get going.
Did you have any idea that there's like 200-yard races?
No. It's
the one race was 10 seconds.
It is
what did I just bet on?
electric. And then it comes again, too, by the way. It's never stopped. Coronavirus, COVID-19. I understand it's very deadly and scary to humans, but them horses are going to be able to run, and that is a social distancing sport. Now, as long as the jockeys don't have it, and because they're on top of each other at some points, but other than that, you're pretty far away from everybody. Horse racing, right? And FanDuel's got a horse betting, like an entire app. TVG is their sister company. FanDuel, because Matt King, the CEO of FanDuel, sent an email to everybody. He was like, hey, we're going to get through this however we can. Your money will. They're doing all the right things. FanDuel always does. And then at the bottom, he's like, by the way, if you need to scratch an itch, TVG has horses, and you can still bet on horses right now. And I never thought I would get into this because I don't like gambling on things I know nothing about. I know nothing about horse racing, but that moment of watching your pony stride out, I have such a sense of pride for my guy. Come on, 3. I don't even know the damn name. Come on, 3. And then they lose by like a horse. It's like, damn, 3. And then you're on to the next one. We're on to Cincinnati. As soon as that thing's over, we are on to Cincinnati immediately. It's been electric in my living room a little bit.
I bet on one last night. Turned it on to watch it. Had no idea that it was one of those cart ones. Where they're pulling the
That's a decent surprise.
I had no idea.
Yeah. All right, we got to get to a break. Cam Heyward's on the other side. If you're out there and you're trying to scratch, I wouldn't recommend gambling a lot on this because we don't know anything about it. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, though, quickly because it is electric.
You think we are allowed to show any horse footage of those races?
I'm not 100% sure. We're about to get to a break before we get to Cam Heyward. We're going to do YouTube questions during the break. So if you're not watching, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, get involved in the conversation. And Cam Heyward, defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's on the other side. You're listening to Pat McAfee Show.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no-contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G-ready network with no activation fees and no contract ever. That's our best deal ever. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a deep dive into the most beautiful place on the internet, the YouTube comments section. YouTube questions. You're damn right, Cuban Z. What do we got, pal?
All right.
Are we doing good on YouTube today?
Yes, we are. We are over 10,000. We peaked at 11.5, I believe. Amazing today.
Tell your friends to come join us if you got any out there. If you don't, cool. We appreciate the hell out of you. 10,000 is a big day for us.
Big day. Oh, yeah.
3 o'clock, by the way. I'm meeting at Carolina Reaper Pepper and giving away money thanks to our friends at G Fuel. And at 1 o'clock, me and AJ Hawk will be bickering. Right here on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Let's go into the questions, Cuban Z.
All right, Panda 3 Chain. How do you feel about Tom to Tampa, about the new Breeze versus Tom rivalry for the next couple of years?
We talked about how Drew and Tom have to know about each other's records. Tom Brady knows exactly how many yards Drew Brees has. Drew Brees knows exactly how many everything Tom Brady has. And we talked to Drew Brees down at Radio Row. We asked him about, being left off the NFL Top 100 and having records and Tom doing this and that. And he said, I'll take all the ammunition you can give me. Drew Brees and Tom Brady, people who are playing with a chip on their shoulder, know exactly what everybody else has done in their profession. In the fact that we get to see them square off now with two elite offenses. Now, we know nothing about this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. But if Antonio Brown goes down there with Godwin's, Mike Evans, Bruce Arians, Clyde Christensen, Byron Leftwich, and Tom Brady, that offense could be explosive. And we all know the Saints, Michael Thomas, if Kamara can get going like he was in the past, Latavius Murray, Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, that offense we've always seen good. Those games are going to be must-see television, good for the NFL because they're going to be able to put that in prime time 2 times a year. There we go. Here's 2 marquee players, marquee teams, marquee markets of offense, and that's going to be something people are going to want to watch. I'm pumped up about that. I am 100% pumped up about that. And, by the way, everywhere he went, there would have been great matchups. Everywhere he went, there would have been great matchups. He's playing Patty Mahomes next year. Oh, yeah. A list came out of who all they play. He plays Patty Mahomes next year. He's playing Aaron Rodgers next year, playing Drew Brees twice next year. It's going to be fun. Tampa's going to be must-see television. I can't wait for it. Thanks for the questions in the YouTube comments.
YouTube questions.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Wednesday, March 18th, day 6 with no live sports, but we will survive. We will survive. Hey, hey! We're being joined now by All-Pro and 3-time Pro Bowler of the Pittsburgh Steelers, defensive lineman Cam Heyward.
What's up? How we doing?
Attaboy, Cam, you down in quarantine over there? How's life?
Man, I'm making do. I got the kids running around. My wife's stuck with them right now, but we're making do. A lot of board games.
Yeah, I mean, people are really going back to the old ages of how to stay entertained. I watched horse racing. My lady busted out a Chutes and Ladders game last night. I mean, these things are getting old school, Cam.
Yeah. My wife doesn't like when I put the TV on, especially with all this NFL free agency stuff going on. So a lot of board games, making up games as I go. I'm thinking about setting up like a putt-putt around the basement. So
Smart.
It should be fun.
Cam, that's very smart. These are things that you're going to have to get very creative with over the next potential 3 months, people are saying. Maybe even a year. Just lock it down. Use that big brain of yours, Cam. You saw yesterday then that Phillip Rivers signed for $25 million with the Indianapolis Colts, effectively naming him the starter over Jacoby Brissett. Do you take any blame in ruining Jacoby Brissett's career with what you did?
Dang. I hope not. Shoot. Didn't he come back after?
Yeah, he was not the same, though. That play by you, I just want to let you know, that was one of the most impressive feats of strength I've ever seen in my entire life. Going into a game against a guy like Quentin Nelson, who's been heralded as a road grader, as something like that, as an interior defensive lineman, is that something where you're like, okay, this is a marquee matchup? Is that something that happens for D linemen, or is it just like every week I got to do my job?
No, hell yeah, it's a marquee matchup. I love Quinn. I love the way he plays. But all week Coach T had been hyping up. They got first rounders over there, and me, Bud, and TJ were like, "Well, shit, we got first rounders over here. So strap it up, let's go."
Is that Tomlin's mentality? Kind of because Chris Boswell has told me that whenever he's going through something or something like that, like Tomlin will come over and joke with him, and like Tomlin told Chris Boswell, like, "Hey, we're big fans of your Bos, but Sebastian Janikowski is about to potentially be on the market." Is that like kind of Tomlin? Is that like how Tomlin like gets people going, motivated, and kind of interacts?
Yeah, he's the king of pettiness. No, it's not a shot. Like, shoot, it's fitting. Shoot, I haven't even texted Coach T about the Derek Watt signing, but I'm just waiting for him to be like, yeah, now we're going for JJ too.
Well, by the way, the entire internet is thinking that because Bill O'Brien is trading people for second-round picks that he doesn't like personally, JJ Watt has. That's what. Yeah, that was insane. We all, by the way, we all felt the same way. Did you hear what Michael Irvin said this morning?
What did he say?
So Michael Irvin said that DeAndre Hopkins talked to him. Now, this is all according to Michael Irvin, who was FaceTiming in to get up this morning from a church basement, it looked like, because the tiles were kind of going down. But he said that Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins had to have conversations about a power struggle and things like that. Like Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins did not get along, I guess. So he's been shopping him a couple years. But the thought of J.J. Watt getting moved out of Houston to Pittsburgh, would that be something you would enjoy or hate?
I would. I love the talent, but, I like to think we got a great D-line going forward. So, shoot, how's that work? You got to get rid of me? I like my stay in Pittsburgh, but, I know we got a lot of great guys, and JJ might have to play cornerback the way we're going.
Your defense last year was incredible. I mean, you guys were winning games that nobody thought you were going to be able to win. You were a team that nobody was talking about, under the radar. You lose Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, Antonio Brown, Lev Bell leave the team. Nobody knows what to expect. And then the trade of Minkah Fitzpatrick, everybody called Tomlin stupid. And then that defense became a dominant factor. In that AFC North, your defense is going to have to remain. What is it like trying to contain the Lamar Jackson-style offense? Because that's obviously who you guys are going to have to go through to get to where you want to go.
Man, you definitely got to put more in the box. To account for him, he's an extra runner. Most of the time when you have a quarterback back there who can't run, you take one out of the box and don't think of him as a runner. But Lamar brings that extra element, and then having a guy like Marshall Yanda blocking for you always help. But, it's always a feat to try to contain him and get after him. So, it's going to be all hands on deck from here on out.
I thought that the Marshall Yanda retirement was going to be a much bigger deal than I think a lot of people were thinking because of how dominant he is as an offensive lineman. Is there clear differences between good offensive linemen and average offensive linemen? Because they're saying there's a shortage of good offensive linemen right now in the NFL as a whole because of the way the college game is and the NFL game is.
Man, I tell you, when we prepare, we know who the Ducks are. And if you don't know who the Ducks are, you're in the wrong sport. We pick on those, we prey on those. And Marshall Yanda was never one of those. You had to bring it every game, and the fact that he could play guard, center, tackle, that's a combination you don't really see as much. And he's done it perfectly. Shoot, I remember one game they had to put him at left tackle, and I was like, he didn't even give up a sack. Most times when a guard moves out in the space, you're like, damn, that's going to be a rough day. But he held it down. Why
is that? Is that because their footing, like if they can't change their balance? Like why are offensive linemen, and granted we're talking to a defensive lineman about this, but I would assume that you study a lot of offensive linemen. What are the tells, and why is it hard for those guys to move, you think?
When you think about the guards, they like to jump at the line of scrimmage. If you jump at the line of scrimmage as a tackle, that's a free line for a fast linebacker. I think sometimes being in that box and being a guard where you got help from the center, you can have help from the guard. On a tackle, sometimes you could be on the island, especially a left tackle. Usually you put your tight end to the right tackle, so you get on that island and you get exposed quick. It's not an easy task to play left tackle in this league.
Let's transition back to the Pittsburgh Steelers' future conversation. Ben Roethlisberger hopefully back next year. What is he like in the locker room as a teammate, and what does he bring to the team?
Everything, man. I think we all saw, and it's not a shot at Mason or Duck, but to have a Hall of Fame quarterback back there completes your offense. As a defense, shoot. You want that type of, command of the ball on the offensive side because it helps you as a defense recover. The more 3-and-outs you get, for your defense gives more opportunities to your offense. So, and I think Ben's a heck of a leader. I think with everything that's gone can be misconstrued. But when he steps on that field, we know we're getting, quality quarterback play.
When Antonio Brown was there for that last year, I believe you're on the team then, right? Yeah, you're obviously on the team there. that entire situation, what was the conversation in the locker room about it? Because it was leaking out into the public, obviously, and the public only hears whatever's getting leaked. And then now there's a thought that he's potentially going to end up back with Tampa Bay. What was it like to kind of watch that transition process with Antonio Brown going from being best wide receiver in the NFL, threat basically in special teams and at wide receiver in every single play, to a man that wasn't happy in the locker room moving forward, ending up in the Raiders, then the Patriots, then on straight and everything like that?
Man, it was crazy. Man, I had me questioning myself. I was like, damn, what the heck are we doing? Like, I couldn't believe all the stuff I was reading and, seeing on TV. I was like, am I a terrible leader? Has this team been bad for that long? But now you see, there was more to it. I want AB to be great. And, I begged and pleaded that we keep AB because of the talent he is. But, we have a lot of great players that can make up for that. And it's not a shot, but we got to, understand that, it's not just one guy. It's got to be a team sport. The quarterbacks throw the ball to the wide receivers, the linemen block, the running backs run. It takes everybody to win a game. It's not just one guy, but that dude definitely is a baller. Wherever he ends up, it's going to be a trouble because, you get that dude in open space and one-on-one, he's going to kill you.
Did you guys realize inside the locker room that this was happening with him? Did you guys realize, like, hey, this guy is not happy being here anymore? Was there like a switch flipped, or did it happen over time, or did you guys not even know this was happening? It was all.
I don't know if as defenders we thought it was this bad.
Got it. Yeah.
I think you don't want to be in cliques or anything, but defense is always around defense. Offense is all around offense. Special teams want to be around the defensive guys because they're crazier. But
true, very true. Funnier and crazier. That's very true. Very true. That's a fact.
Yeah, but you just you take a step back and you're like, what is going on here? Why did it lead to this? I thought it could be fixed. It couldn't. And that's where we are.
Well, team's still damn good. That defense you guys had last year was legendary. Everybody's talking about the Bears going into the season, about how their defense is going to win them games, and it turned out the Pittsburgh Steelers defense was winning a lot of games, and obviously paying Phillip Rivers with defensive linemen hurting other quarterbacks.
Well, I can't wait to play Phillip. I don't want to hurt him, but I love when he talks.
Hey, does he? So he chirps a lot. Have you ever been in a chirp with Phillip Rivers?
No, I talk after I do it. I don't talk before. So,
okay.
I let him know I'm here. But Phillip is really good friends with one of my neighbors. So he tries to take it easy on me for the most part.
Are you a talker out there or no?
When I have to be. I don't like to start anything, but I will finish it.
Are you a savage? Do you go right for the throat, right for the jugular with what you say, or do you let it kind of build and do the give and take?
No, there's no building. I'm trying to TKO you. Because if you wait, you're going to give somebody an opportunity to come back.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
Absolutely.
I've been told in practices, like, you got to take it easy. You don't need to be going that hard and cutting throats off.
How do you feel about the 17-game season as a defensive lineman that's coming in?
Sucks, but what we're gonna do about it? Cry about it? Shoot, play football.
Marquise Pouncey was not happy. I mean,
what's up?
Marquise Pouncey was not happy. That video of him driving where he was talking about putting up 250. He was not happy with that extra game potentially coming involved. By the way, a lot of players weren't happy. And then the coronavirus happened, then free agency happened. Now we're just kind of moving past it. But that's going to be a real thing that you guys are going to have to address at some point, especially in the positions where it's hand-to-hand combat every single day. 17 games is going to be a drag, man.
It's going to be a drag, but I'm not going to cry about it now. Shoot, it is what it is. You move on, and we voted on it. It passed. So be it. I wish I could have been the video in the back saying "Pounce, calm down," but I understand where he comes from. You look at it and you say, if the owners want to say it's about safety, why are we adding more games? But at the end of the day, it does provide a lot of money for a lot of younger guys with the CBA, and I'm all for those guys getting their money.
Hey, that was That was a super politically correct answer right there. you really balanced that out. Very nice. What year is this for you? What year is this for you?
I'm going into 10.
Congratulations, man. It's not easy.
Man, I'm just trying to catch you.
You already did. You already did.
No, you played more than – how many years you play?
8, man. I'm done. 8, and I'm gone.
What?
Yeah, see you later. Yeah.
So how the hell did you get
Go on.
Indianapolis just to go crazy for you every time you stepped on the field?
Well, there was this alleged incident that happened, in October 20th, 2010, and it really endeared me with the hearts of the Hoosiers here. And by the way, I will never leave it. I love this place out here. I love the people out here. But yeah, I was the only punter that would get cheered coming onto the field at home. It wasn't like that for the first 4 years, though. I'd get booed coming on the field, cheered everywhere else.
No, but it's way different. We've played games in Indy, and to see you, it's like that scene in Gladiator. It's like they're cheering you on. I'm like, it's a damn punter. But it's crazy, bro. Everybody loves you.
Well, the thing would have been awesome is being on the defensive side, putting your hand up, 4th down. We did our job. And then as you're jogging off, the crowd's like, yeah, let's punt this thing. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know how much that would fly in Pittsburgh. We've had some good special teams, but Jeff Reed, Sean Sweesham, I don't know how good they would feel about that right now.
Jeff Reed beating the hell out of that paper towel dispenser, man. I love that guy. Diggs, diehard Steelers fan, has a question for you.
Yeah, congrats to Javon Hargrave for getting paid. Do you think that maybe you'll be moved down inside a little bit more with you and Tuitt, or is it like the game is changing where it's a lot more nickel and dime, so you maybe don't need the nose tackle?
You need the nose tackle when you play teams that are heavy run based, like a Tennessee team, where they just want to line up and go straight down your throat. There's so many zone teams and to get you in nickel base, where the nose tackle becomes non-existent. But I thought with Javon, he was able to play nose, but also able to play D tackle. So, I don't think I'll be sliding in that much. If I do, so be it. But, I like to play the 3 more than anything.
Random human just popped in the background of your FaceTime there. Who's that?
Yeah, just showing out right now.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Say what's up.
How old is he?
He's 4.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Hey, get him a basketball. Get that kid a basketball and start doing a little office basketball hoop shot right now in the middle of COVID-19. That kid's going to be 7 foot tall.
Yeah, we don't know. My wife played volleyball in college, so.
There it is.
I feel so good about my observations sometimes. That shadow painting you have behind you is pretty dope.
Yeah, she got this made for one of the Christmases. We're playing Cleveland. Picked up a fumble and had the stiff arm wide receiver, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about hitting somebody in the head with their own helmet?
What's up?
Have you ever thought about hitting somebody in? Hey, what's going on, brother? Have you ever thought about hitting somebody in the head with their own helmet?
I can't say that has crossed my mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, stud D lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his son, Cam Heyward. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, come back anytime. When you get bored in this quarantine, just FaceTime back anytime you want.
Bet. I got you.
All right. Cheers, man. All right, we got to get to a break. I believe we had an ad. He was awesome.
That's awesome that other teams recognize how popular you were.
Dude, it had to be crazy. 4th down, they're so happy. They just got to stop, get off the field, luck or whatever. And then I'm jogging on, and the crowd's like, let's go.
Everyone's standing up for you. Here we go.
What is going on?
Defense has to be like, are they cheering for us?
Yeah, I couldn't even fathom the other teams that were there whenever I got introed, out of the tunnel, and I do a full WWE entrance. Is that the punter over there? What a buffoon. Dumb life I live. We got to sell something for very cheap.
When's the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see when I drive?
Never.
Yeah, you probably haven't.
Bro, it is coming down outside right now. In Indianapolis, it is about the flood and people are locked up because of COVID-19. Seasonal depression is coming in with a left like Mike Tyson right now. We are battling through in this office, 3 o'clock. I will wrestle a Carolina Reaper Pepper.
Luckily, although it is coming down, driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache thanks to the new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades. These blades last through everything, and to prove it, Michelin just put their new Endurance XT silicone wiper blades to the test on a world record-breaking 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina just to show how durable these blades are. Rainier Zeitlo was the man behind the wheel, and he put the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades through ice, snow, rain, thunder, and wind, and the blades took all of it. These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance with an advanced quad-tech, 4-layered coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than any other blades. The Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today, only at Walmart.
All right. We'll get some phones on the other side. We can't thank everybody enough for watching and listening wherever you are. This definitely sucks, but we're going to power through, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. I have no clue why.
Happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G ready network for just $45 a month with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Foxy will be shooting these 10 shots from NBA 3 right at the top. Nick here will be shooting 10 hockey balls at the net, which has 4 targets in the corners. He will be in an office chair. He will not be allowed to move from the office chair. For each target that Nick hits, we will be giving away $1,000 to somebody in the comment section right now. For every shot that he makes, we will give away $1,000 to the commenters, to your Cash App or your Venmo. Do not cheat the Office Olympics like you're some fucking Russian. 1 for 1! The big bank shot, I did not expect that.
Are we playing 3-bar here? Are we trying to hit the targets, pal?
1 for 2 with a snipe on Fogel's face. That's $1,000 being given away to somebody in the comment section. Just remember, this is the office's money. Okay, everybody's going through some stuff here. Let's not make it look too damn easy. 1 for 1. Kid from Williamston. Oh my God. Oh.
I see some dangles here, kid.
Oh, right down the center. You really blew it away there. 1 for 6. Ice cold from the kid from Michigan. Foxy? I have to do more than Evan Foxy did yesterday.
Oh, I don't know why he's going after that one. Hasn't done it yet.
I can already feel the underbettors who were kind of shaking in their boots after that first one, coming back to life. They went into a hole there. They're coming back. They knew this was potentially going to happen. Will Evan Foxy let the haters win?
You got to go top shelf here. It's a lot easier.
Top. Oh my God, so unfortunate. So unfortunate on the bounce.
I mean, he's absolutely pooped the bed today.
Yeah, 1 for 9.
Walking around like he's got cement in his skates.
There are a lot of people wondering, why do I always pick Evan Fox to do these giveaways? Oh, that's tough. Try to backdoor Harvey Weinstein there. Evan Foxy going out on a high note. Is he the hero? Brick! All right, well, $1,000 goes to the commenters that said 1 at the beginning of this thing. There's that. We will give away $1,000 to the underbettors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 41 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday, March 18th, and you're about to hear an illiterate gentleman read an ad read. Ladies and gentlemen, a reading from Zito.
Thank you, Pat.
Wasn't really something to say thanks to.
Anytime. Intro. If you're listening to this show right now, I want you to take a second and look on.
Oh, listen to this dramatic reading by Zito.
I'm following the music.
Attaboy.
Thank you. When was the last time you shaved your junk?
Great question, Z.
It's been a while, don't lie. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave your junk. Amen to that. Talking points. Manscaped is the only men's beard dedicated to the below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Do not read. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essential Kit.
Does it say do not or cannot?
It probably means both.
Yeah.
The perfect tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 comes with a new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of the other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's third generation trimmer, features a cutting edge ceramic blade to prevent Manscaped accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick free, not nickel. Thanks to Manscaped Advanced Skin Safe technology. I'm going to call some action.
All right. Yeah.
You got it.
Yep.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use code America. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you.
Attaboy, Zito. By the way, now's a pretty good time. You have nothing but time.
Full 2 minutes.
That reading?
Yeah.
And he cut off half the page. He did. He cut off half the page.
My words a minute's not good.
Well, and words per dollar that they're paying is not great either. I mean, but now is a good time, by the way. You get nothing but time. Go ahead and take that third generation Lawnmower 3.0. It was just a silky, buttery, smooth. Maybe get creative down there, you know? Put a fish down there.
And
Maybe a
that's
llama.
the bottom line.
Try some things. You're not going to see anyone for a long time.
Long time.
Maybe cut your hair with it, too.
Yeah, that's going to become an issue.
Okay, so Sam used to be a dog groomer, like 12 years ago or whatever. I think she's going to be giving me a fade here in the next day or so. She said it can't be anything different than a schnauzer.
It's a tough mindset to have.
No, believe me, at this point, though, what am I going to do? Am I going to do it myself? Absolutely not. The last time I tried to shave something, I shaved my entire body. Oh, Jay does have it. We have a hair cutter
on property.
On property.
Oh, you're set.
You're good.
Huh.
The rest of us.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, you're in bad spot. Let's get some
whatever.
phones. Let's go to Spencer down there in Florida. Spencer, what's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat, how you doing today?
Not too shabby. Spencer, I think my life's going to be better after I talk to you, though. I can already tell.
I like to hear that. So, longtime Pats fan here, born up in Rhode Island, down here in Florida for about 5 years. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. This Brady to Bucs deal is going to be the most lucrative deal ever in the NFL. Been down here 5 years. Not once have I thought about going to a Bucs game. Yesterday, I became a season ticket holder after waiting in line with 5,000 other people to buy some tickets.
Spencer, we said that yesterday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are must-see television all of a sudden. That pirate ship that they got down there, that stadium's going to be packed out. Those Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans from way back who will say, like, I've been a fan of them since back whenever Dungy was here, like way, way back. Those fans are coming back in full existence. It's because Bruce Arians pulled the trigger on the GOAT, and they're assembling an offense that's going to be must-see TV. And good for the Buccaneers, good for Tampa Bay, and that entire organization is going to get broken off. That's why it's interesting to hear that he's going to get a 2-year, $60 million deal or whatever, because what he's worth to that Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise, they're going to be on national TV more. They're going to have sellout after sellout after sellout. I mean, that place is going to be awesome. Good for Tampa Bay, good for Tom, good for the Buccaneers, and good for Spencer, by the way.
Yeah.
Season ticket, not easy to become a season ticket holder in some places. Green Bay, I think it takes, 30 years or something like that.
I'll never get him. Been on there
I've
for
been on a
long
waiting
time.
list since I was 16.
Patriots, I would assume the same thing. They've been winning for 20 years. You know how hard it is to probably get season tickets? Now, Tom Brady goes to a new... By the way, this is why the Chargers needed him.
Yeah.
The Chargers needed Tom for this exact reason. What's happening in Tampa Bay would have been happening in Los Angeles. Maybe Cam Newton would be that guy. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go back to Ben in Ohio. Ben, what's going on over there in Ohio?
Hey, man, I love what you guys are doing with the facility there, putting out content for us like this. So I want to say, while Brady might be going to Tampa Bay, Antonio Brown's not going to be following him. As we've seen, Brown's been kind of self-destructing here. And we notice things like it's everybody else's fault. He's his own worst enemy. He's a roller coaster relationship. He's reckless and impulsive, and he always needs to be the center of attention. And I just can't see
Is this Dr.
leaders
Phil?
of industry like NFL teams are going to notice these behaviors and not want him around to rebuild.
Be who you can afford to be. This isn't a rebuild, by the way. This is a win now. So I think that's two very different mindsets. But just like you said, he is a roller coaster of emotions. And I would say if I was Antonio Brown's people or a team trying to sell themselves on it being okay to bring in Antonio Brown, that thing went down for a long time. I don't even think it hit a whoop-de-whoop going down. This thing just went straight. It was one of the biggest drops in the history of roller coasters. Right down to the bottom. But like every good roller coaster, as soon as you hit that bottom, they got to make you try to puke. They're bringing that son bitch straight back up, and it's click, 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 click. It's a longer time climbing. Now, will he crash again? Who knows? I mean, who knows? And remember, we had the thought when Antonio Brown got arrested, like he was being forced to go to mental health. If they got him medicine that leveled out his
brain chemistry?
Yeah, his chemicals, right? Yeah.
Left side, right side.
Yeah, if they that's mental health. That can happen, by the way, is when you see a doctor, you get diagnosed with something, they give you medicine, bang, your chemicals are leveled out. It is actually something that can be fixed. Now, has Antonio Brown made bad decisions since potentially being fixed and going on a right decision? I think so, but it seems like there's been a lot more right than wrong. And I think teams, because of how damn good he is at football, and if Tom Brady wants him, especially the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, will be able to say, we can control him, we can keep him on the right path, and hopefully will be a story of redemption as opposed to a story as another place that Antonio Brown tore apart.
Especially if Tom is vouching for him. But if you look at his social media, it seems like he's on the way back up. And I assume when you hit rock bottom and you're in like a bulletproof suicide vest in front of a courtroom after being arrested, might open up your eyes.
Let's go to Cameron in Virginia. Cameron, that's probably a good idea, but that's probably a safe call. And he's still very good at football. Now, granted, we watch a lot of internet videos of people succeeding and not showing any of their failures, so we're not seeing anything bad from Antonio Brown, but boy, Antonio Brown looks like he's still got it on the internet. Let's go to Cameron over there in Virginia. What's going on, Cameron?
What up, Pat? Hey, amazing to be on the same show as Cameron Heyward. Great team, great name. So, Steelers lost a lot of weapons, and Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben coming back, very old, Father Time coming back. Is the Steelers' playoff window closing?
That's a real question that can be had probably a year ago, especially when you have an aging quarterback. And your younger quarterback in Mason Rudolph that you drafted did not perform well. And then the other quarterback that you brought in get some wins, but then ultimately threw some interceptions in a massive game and became a cult hero in the process. So good for him. You can book him on Cameo now. Our boy Doc, quack, 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 quack. But I think with that defense, they're going to be able to win some games, but ultimately you have to have a good offense if you really want to take it over the top. And I think Roethlisberger is good enough to do so. But yeah, their window is definitely closing.
There's been an update to the DeAndre Hopkins situation.
Here we go.
He just tweeted out, "This is being blown way out of proportion. As I've said before, I enjoyed and am proud of my time with the Texans. I have the utmost respect for Coach O'Brien, and that will not change. Now I'm ready to play for the Cardinals."
Okay, so as we said, whenever we were reading Michael Irvin's or listening to Michael Irvin's statement from Get Up this morning, there was no way DeAndre Hopkins wanted that message to get out. He would have done it himself. Michael Irvin, I assume, was trying to stick up for DeAndre Hopkins. And in turn, because there's no live sports and nothing else happened, a full firestorm happened. As soon as Michael Irvin said this on Get Up, we watch Get Up every morning, by the way. Mike Greenberg is getting a chance to work there and watch him work and the people behind the scenes and everything. It's a good show. Like they are a good show. And we watch it every single morning. As soon as Michael Irvin said that from that FaceTime wherever he was, we literally stopped. I stopped. I was like, what did Michael Irvin just say? And then Connor screamed over top of it while Michael Irvin was saying it again. So we had to rewind and watch it again. And as soon as I heard it through, I was like, oh, this is the story. This is what we're talking about today. This is going to be it. I knew it was going to be a big deal because anytime you have this elite level player, being treated in a manner that you don't think an elite level player should be treated. And you hear about stories happening like this. And especially now that it's come out, Benjamin Albright just tweeted that a cornerback who's a free agent who could potentially be a target of the Texans has decided that he will not go to the Texans because of what he's heard about Coach Bill O'Brien from former Texans defenders, right? So Bill O'Brien now, his name is getting into an interesting spot right now with this DeAndre Hopkins thing. Trading him away for a second rounder, everybody's like, this guy's a stooge, what a bum. And every other wide receiver is basically going for at least a first rounder. Now you got one of the best of all time. Who's that?
Bill O'Brien.
Was it?
That's
Bill O'Brien.
That's Bill O'Brien.
Who did he?
I think it was a special teams coach. I think he had up there first. Anyways, I knew this was going to be a big deal. And by the way, DeAndre Hopkins answering this is doing Bill O'Brien a massive favor because DeAndre Hopkins could have said, to hell with it. This guy just traded me for a second rounder. He thinks I'm worth a second rounder. But instead of him coming out, sticking up for Bill O'Brien is good. I'm still not certain that's going to sway people from wanting to sign with the Texans as opposed to going elsewhere. What are they selling people right now? Deshaun Watson? He doesn't have any weapons, though. What are they selling? They were up 20 or something like that in the playoffs. Then he came back to lose. What are they selling? J.J. Watt. I guess that's a stud that you would want to play with. But aside from that, I'm not 100% sure what Houston's selling to these free agents.
Jury's out. Guy's a horse's ass. No one wants to play for him.
Well, there's that, too. That Ty wouldn't sign with him.
No, I wouldn't.
Nah, I wouldn't either.
Diggs wouldn't sign.
Can't look at that chin.
A little personal. You took that. Let's go to Nate in Indiana. What's up, Nate?
Oh, what's up?
What's up,
Big
dude?
fan of the show. You know what? I want to talk about the rise of the mullet. Big Ben had one. Tom Brady, he kind of had one. Our beloved Quentin Nelson had one. I think the sports world should have more mullets in it.
I can respect that take there. And especially in a time now where people don't know when they're going to be around others. Now is the time you could potentially start growing that thing in because it does take some time to grow your hair. And the middle phases and stages are not nice. They are terrible. That's why I can't grow my hair because I can't find a time in my schedule to go through those disgusting, despicable middle stages where the hair just grows out and then sits on top of your ears and you look like a buffoon. With my big head, it's bad. If I could grow a mullet, I would do it tomorrow. Shout out Theo Vaughn, by the way, who has never gave up and never gave in to the mullet slander because his has been flowing for a long time. Roethlisberger had the Boston Connor hair. He just had the flow right over the top.
I don't
reverse mold.
I don't remember that at all.
1 o'clock, we are live with AJ Hawk, McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk right here on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Then at 3 p.m., you have to be in our comments because you will potentially win some money depending upon how long I last after eating a Carolina Reaper pepper. Dance monkey. I'm eating a Carolina Reaper pepper for however long it takes me to reach for a G Fuel drink. We'll be paying out for people in the comment section. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can't thank you enough. We're trying to do our best to get us all through this terrible time. We'll see you at 1 o'clock with McAfee and Hawk. This has been the Pat McAfee Show live from Indianapolis,
Indiana!
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buyers now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.